Barakatay Hawa, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Ruach Kodash. Welcome to another lesson. Barakatay Hawa. The name of this one is Yahawashi is Yatazachaaq, which is Isaac. This comes from a scripture we're going to read in the book of Genesis that I was listening to earlier. And I've read it before, I've listened to it before, but something just stuck out even more earlier today when I was listening to it, and just wanted to share it with you brothers. I'm pretty sure other brothers may have touched on it, because, brothers doing so many lessons and studying, and the Spirit is revealing so many things that I'm pretty sure another brother probably already brought this out. But as I was listening to it, it just hit me, which we already know by going to Matthew, the first chapter and the first verse, the book of the generations of Yahawashi, the son of David, the son of Abraham, which Yahawashi was King Solomon, David's son, and he was also Isaac, Abraham's son. And as I was listening to it in the book of Genesis, there was more that stuck out. I've made mention through the Spirit on other points in that particular scripture, but this kind of hit me as I was walking. I was like, wow. And as Yahawashi says, if you can receive it, So if you can receive it, Yahawashi is Isaac. He is also King David, and these other men also. I'm sorry, not King David, King Solomon. And other men also, but we'll just stick with this for right now. Yahawashi being the son of Abraham, which the son of Abraham was Isaac. All right. Now let's read Genesis 22:1. This will be a short lesson. It says, unless the Lord wants it to go longer, it says, and it came to pass after these things that the Most High did tempt Abraham, meaning the Most High was trying Abraham to see what he would do. Because remember, Abraham had no heirs. Abraham was, I believe he was around 80-something years old when he first had an actual son by Hagar, the handmaid. And the child's name was named Ishmael, which comes from the Hebrew Yashamai Allah, which means he has heard of the power. And prior to him having that son, he was getting old, and he wanted to set up an heir to take over his goods, and his property when he passed on. And he asked the Lord if he can set up his servant Eliezer to be that heir, because he was born in his house. He was a servant. He was faithful. He was loyal. And the Lord said, no, you're going to have a son, and I'm going to make my covenant with him, with you. So later on, King Abraham had Ishmael, and he asked the Lord, may Ishmael live before your sight. Because remember, now he's getting even older, and this was an actual son of his through Hagar, the handmaid. And the Lord told him, no, said, you're still going to have a son, which Sarah, thy wife, is going to bear unto you. And here it is. He was, almost 100 years old, I believe it was. And Sarah was around 90 years old, when they actually had Isaac. And the Lord said, well, may Ishmael live before thee, because Abraham at this point, he's looking at it like, I'm getting old, not that he didn't believe the Most High, but he just wanted to, cement the inheritance with Ishmael, so that way that could be taken care of and out of the way. But the Lord told him, no, you're going to have a son, and you're going to call his name Isaac. And he said, I heard you concerning Ishmael, but with Isaac is my covenant going to be made. And not too long after that, when Ishmael was around 13 years old, this is when Isaac was born. So it says, and it came to pass after these things that the Most High did tempt or tried Abraham and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here am I. And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, because this was the son that the Lord promised him from him and Sarah. Right? So he's saying to take thine only son, take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. So here it is, the Most High gave him a son between him and his wife Sarah. You know, he blessed him, he blessed Sarah, and he asked Abraham to sacrifice his only begotten son, or his only son, to him. All right? It says, And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which the Most High had told him. So Abraham was obedient. He took everything that he needed. He took 2 of his servants. He took the child. He took everything that he needed to sacrifice his son Isaac, because he believed in the Most High. It says, Then on the 3rd day, now this is something that hit me after the 3rd day. You know, now any of you that know about the crucifixion of Yahawashi, he was in the grave 3 days and 3 nights. So at the end of the 3rd night, that's when he came out of the grave, which was the beginning of the 4th day. So it says, then on the 3rd day, this is Abraham on a journey, going to a place that the Most High commanded him to go, to sacrifice his only son by Sarah. And he's obedient. He took everything he needed, right? Then on the 3rd day, that hit me. I was like, wow, that's heavy. Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you. Right? So they stayed there, and Abraham and Isaac and whatever they needed were on their way to go to sacrifice Isaac. Now the point is this here. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering. I'm going to read it again. Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering. I'm going to read it one more time. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. So what did he do in essence? He made Isaac carry the wood that was going to sacrifice him. I know some of you brothers already know where this is going. So before we read on, let's go to St. John 19 and 13. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Yahawashi forth and sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called the pavement, but in Hebrew Gabbatha. And it was the preparation of the Passover, and about the 6th hour. And he saith unto the Jews, Behold your king. But they cried out, Away with him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, Shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered, We have no king but Caesar. Then delivered he him, therefore unto them to be crucified. And they took Yahawashi and led him away. Right? It says, and he, meaning Yahawashi, bearing his cross, meaning that wood where he was going to be crucified on. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in the Hebrew Golgotha. So now let's look up this word cross, right? Which is staudos. Staudos, which is a cross, a well-known instrument of most cruel and ignominious punishment, borrowed by the Greeks and Romans from the Phoenicians, to wit, were affixed among the Romans down to the times of Constantine the Great, the gulliest criminals, particularly the basest slaves, robbers, the authors and abettors of insurrections. So Yahawashi was considered to be an insurrector. You know, and occasionally in the provinces, all the arbitrary pleasures of the governors, upright and peaceable men also, and even Roman citizens themselves. The crucifixion which Yahawashi underwent, an upright stake, especially a pointed one, used as such in fences, or palisades. Okay. Let's see what it says for the root word, histemi. To cause, to make, to stand, to place, put, set, to bid, to stand by. So this was an actual piece of wood that Yahawashi was carrying, this cross. You know, and we're reading here that, and he bearing his cross went forth into a place called the place of the skull, which is called in the Hebrew Golgotha. Okay, so now let's go back to Genesis and read this again. 22:6. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, the wood that was going to be used to sacrifice Isaac, and laid it upon Isaac his son, meaning he had Isaac carry that wood to that place where the Lord told him to go and sacrifice his son, Isaac. So he made Isaac carry the wood, and he carried the rest. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. All right. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? All right. Because we know that John the Baptist, this is what he said, St. John 1:29. The next day John seeth Yahawashi coming unto him, and saith, Behold, the Lamb of the Most High, which taketh away the sin of the world. So here it is, Isaac asked his father, where was the lamb? Isaac was carrying the wood that was going to sacrifice him. Yahawashi is the Lamb that taketh away the sin for the world of Israel. Yahawashi carried his cross, which was that wood, on where he was actually crucified. And Abraham said, My son, the Most High will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. So they keep speaking about the lamb, because this lamb was going to be sacrificed. But that was symbolic of Isaac being the lamb, right? But at this particular time, when Abraham was about to crucify his son Isaac, which is Yahawashi in the reincarnation, there was no lamb that was provided for that burnt offering. And you'll get it as we read further down. And they came to the place which the Most High had told him of, and Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. He said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him, for now I know that thou fearest the Most High, seeing that thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a what? A ram caught in the thicket by his horns. So it wasn't a lamb that was sacrificed, although they asked, Isaac asked what was the lamb, and Abraham said that the Lord would provide a lamb. This is, if you look at it spiritually, that was a representation of Yahawashi, what he was going to suffer later on. But it wasn't time at this point, because Israel still had to go off, to a certain degree before the Most High would actually provide Yahawashi as the ultimate sacrifice, which he was already destined to be that sacrifice before the foundation of the world. It says, and Abraham called the name of the place Yahweh Yireh, and as it is to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. That means the Most High sees, Yahweh sees, or Yahweh will see. All right. So the point is that Abraham had Isaac carry the wood that he was going to be sacrificed upon. Isaac asked for the lamb. Abraham told him the Lord will provide the lamb. The end of the story is that Isaac didn't get sacrificed at this time because it wasn't time for him. So there was like a parallel between him carrying the wood for his sacrifice and Yahawashi carrying the cross, which was made of wood, to be sacrificed for the nation of Israel. They asked for the lamb. Abraham told them about the lamb, and John the Baptist said that Yahawashi, the next day, John seeth Yahawashi coming unto him and saith, Behold, the Lamb of the Most High, which taketh away the sin of the world. And that's the world of Israel. So I thought that pretty heavy, as I was walking, and I heard that I had to rewind it. And then when I got back, from my walk, eventually I read this. And then when I came across, what verse was that? When I came across the 4th verse, it says, Then on the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. So Yahawashi was in the grave 3 days and 3 nights. So I mean, it was just something I found interesting. So I said, what, let me share it with you brothers. I don't know if any brother have gone over that. I know I've mentioned about the lamb part. I'm pretty sure in other lessons, but this is heavy, man. If the Spirit is opening up your eyes, you can see all the parallels. And then there's scriptures that even tell you, but most people are not going to get it because they're going to shun reincarnation because they're going by that herd mentality of that reincarnation is something that the Hindus came up with, that it's a heathenistic custom. But yet all nations have a creation story. All nations have a flood story. So I guess we should discard that too because that's heathen stuff, But, be it as it may, for those that can receive it, you can receive it. Yahawashi is Yatazachaaq, which is Isaac in the Hebrew, which means laughter. So like I said, I wasn't going to make it super long. The point is made, and Lord's will, you brothers have been edified. The water for the comments and the scriptures, and Lord's will, I see you. I'll see you. Hey, shalom. Well, let me share with you brothers. I don't know if any brother have gone over that. I know I've mentioned about the lamb part. I'm pretty sure in other lessons, but this is heavy, man. If the Spirit is opening up your eyes, you can see all the parallels.